There are many common weight loss myths that folks live by when it involves their health. It's difficult sometimes to separate the load loss myths and facts from what's true. Many sound true while others are just laughable. I once read somewhere that if you drink water in the dark that you simply are getting to gain weight, or that if you scratch your head too often you're getting to lose your hair. Weight loss myth number 1: the more weight that I even have to lose, the more intense my exercise routine should be. Weight loss truth: although having an intense workout routine is great, there are a couple of belongings you should consider, the primary being that everybody is at a special level when it involves their fitness and the way much intensity they will actually handle. If you've been physically inactive for a variety of years, an intense compute for you would possibly be walking half a mile each day. After you walk that 880 yards you notice that you simply are worried, which you're tired. However, for somebody who has been physically active for several years, walking half a mile are often avoided a sweat. Everyone features a different definition of what intense is. If intense for you is functioning out for an hour each day, but thanks to life's busy schedule you simply have time for 20 minutes each day, then those 20 minutes will go a particularly great distance. It'd not necessarily be classified as intense, consistent with your definition, but those little cardio moments will have positive health-altering effects. Fat loss myth number 2: stress and weight gain don't go hand in hand. Weight loss fact: this is often one among those laughable myths. To find out more about how stress is adding lbs. Weight loss myth number 3: I can reduce while eating whatever I would like. If you throw a botch within the air, it's getting to come down. You'll sit on your couch and picture and visualize that the ball will stay afloat within the air, but natural principles teach us that it'll come down. An equivalent goes when it involves weight. This is one of the foremost common weight loss myths out there. It's illogical to think that your health and weight are getting to be in balance if your nutrition consists mainly of Twinkies, chips, and donuts. Sure, you'll burn it off by exercising, but most of the people whose diet consists of main food are probably not disciplined enough to stay to a workout routine. I do know a couple of people that, from the surface, appear as if they're in fine condition, because they're not fat, but who have high cholesterol. Just because I feel pitying crushing the hearts of numerous Twinkie lovers out there, I might say this. You'll eat food, cookies, chips, ice cream, pizza, burgers. All of these soul-satisfying foods, but it should be carefully. Anything in excess isn't good. Fat loss myth number 4: skipping meals may be a great way to reduce weight loss fact: there are numerous studies that show that folks who skip breakfast and eat fewer times during the day tend to be tons heavier than those that have a healthy nutritional breakfast then eat 4 to 6 small meals during the day. The rationale for this could be the very fact that they get hungrier afterward within the day, and may need a bent to overeat during other meals of the day. Weight loss myth number 5: I will not reduce while eating in the dark. Weight loss truth: you'll overindulge in food during the day and not eat one thing in the dark and you'll gain weight. As is that the incontrovertible fact that you'll starve yourself during the day and eat all night long and you continue to will gain weight. The key here is balance. If your body is telling you that it's hungry, then perhaps you ought to hear it. The reality is that overeating, while not exercising, will cause you to realize weight, regardless of what time of the day that you simply eat. Whenever I'm hungry in the dark, as is my habit with other meals during the day, I attempt to select something that's natural in nature. During those moments that I'm craving frozen dessert or something sweet, I allow myself to urge some and don't feel guilty about it. Many of us who are overweight live their life in guilt and shame. I allow myself to urge some, however, moderately. Fat loss myth number 6: I'm not acceptable until I reduce. Weight loss fact: the one that doesn't feel acceptable because they're fat is because they're not acceptable to themselves first. The way that you simply think others view you is predicated on your view of yourself. I even have skilled these self-limiting emotions before. Once I noticed that I used to be already enough within the eyes of God, which I had not got to prove myself to anyone or to receive external validation for my self-worth, which made all the difference on my behalf. Once you accept yourself as who you're immediately and realize that you simply are already enough within the eyes of God, you'll not desire you're not acceptable due to your weight. Weight loss myth number 7: I need to chop calories to reduce faster. Weight loss truth: cutting your calories down could be an excellent thing if you're drastically overeating and stuffing your face. However, if you're eating proportionally, then cutting calories may need an aversive effect. If you're cutting calories and are starving your body, then which will lower your metabolism, or in other words, slow it down, which can end in you really not losing any weight in the least, albeit you're cutting calories. Fat loss myth number 8: skipping meals will help me reduce. You'll become too hungry and can eventually need to eat. This may knock your metabolism astray and can eventually slow it down. Consider a car running low on gas. Food, if you are doing not fill it up, it'll eventually pack up. An equivalent goes for our body, we'd like to stay it fueled constantly. Weight loss myth number 9. Weight loss truth: can someone say excuse? I will be able to not deny that there could be tendencies for heavy parents to boost heavy children who will remain heavy their whole lives, but I do not believe that there's actually a fat gene or DNA out there. What we do inherit from our family, primarily those that directly raised us, are our views and beliefs. Are based upon how you were raised. If you were raised during a home where the first meals cooked were fried foods, then you would possibly have a bent to continue cooking and eating fried foods throughout your life. If that's the case, then you would possibly be a touch heavy round the waist. The straightforward thing to try to is responsible for those that were responsible for your upbringing, however, you usually have an option to change. Fat loss myth number 10: eating healthy is just too hard. Weight loss fact: eating healthy is that the simplest thing within the world, once you've got trained yourself to try to do it. What percentage times have you ever placed a goal to reduce or to eat better? Within the first few days, you're doing great, eating all types of foods which you normally wouldn't eat. Then something funny began to happen, you went back to your old habits and behaviors. This went on to you in other areas outside of your health. It might be with making money, trying to find a replacement job, or in your relationships. Creating a replacement habit takes time because our brains don't like change. Change to the brain is dangerous. Weight loss myth number 11: you have to offer up your favorite foods to reduce. Weight loss truth: what would a world without chocolate and without pizza be like? I feel it might be a tortuous world to measure in. Lol. Now on a true note, I completely afflict this myth. You're definitely ready to eat your favorite foods. Depriving yourself of this type of delight isn't fun, and quite frankly you almost certainly will eat it anyways. As has been mentioned before, the important key is moderation. If you're a steak lover, then perhaps it'd not be the simplest things to eat it every single day, but perhaps once or twice every week. Those that know me personally know that I eat chicken wings with pizza. During a perfect world where I would not gain any weight and my arteries were clogged less, I might like to eat it several times per week, well more like a day. However, I do know that those aren't the healthiest of food choices, so I even have it about 2 to 3 times per month. I'm not abandoning my favorite foods, I'm just eating it carefully in order that it doesn't catch up to me within the sort of excess weight. Fat loss myth number 12: overeating is caused by hunger. Weight loss fact: nice try there. If only we could blame hunger for it. In fact, this person we call hunger has nothing to try to do with you overeating. It'd have something to try to your body telling you that it's time to fuel up, which it needs food, but that's not a sign that one should overeat. What causes many of us to overeat are different reasons. One among the most ones may be a feeling of stress, depression, loneliness, anxiety, fear, and other downgrading emotions of that nature. Repeatedly food is often a way of satisfying your needs. You would possibly be actually getting your needs met through your foods. For instance, if you reside a lonely life, and are not very happy, then food could perhaps be a way of you feeling happy and comforted. There are other articles that I even have written on this subject, but suffice it to mention that overeating isn't caused by being hungry. Weight loss myth number 13: only drastic diets work. These drastic diets range from the cookie diet, lol. All that thanks to the water-only diet. I'm sure you'll reduce while on these diets, however, the load are going to be gained right back, and typically with some added weight as a bonus. Fat loss myth number 14: I am too fat and too far down the road to start. Weight loss fact: an extended journey begins one step at a time. It's natural to expect instantaneous results and to even fear the road before you, especially if you're extremely overweight. The key here is to form small incremental changes. Don't expect perfection because it will lead you to disappointment. You're never too far down the road to where you can't see the sun's light. Weight loss myth number 15: I can't roll in the hay. I even have tried repeatedly and have failed. Weight loss truth: the good Ford once said, whether you think that you'll, otherwise you think you can't, you're right. It is 90% mindset, and 10% actually getting off your butt and doing something about it. You subside, you revisit up, you subside again, you revisit up again. If you've tried to reduce within the past, then it's time to stay trying. Discouragement as to losing weight is maybe a piece of fried chicken to a vegetarian, they do not go hand in hand.